All right. Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us today. So today our training is going to be on Zoom. Okay. I've actually been looking forward to this training because obviously since the pandemic started, it's just changed our business a lot. Okay. So the pandemic started, or it affected us directly here in El Paso beginning in March of 2020. And we're already in November, the end of November 2020, and things just don't seem to be getting better. And so for that reason, I wanted to put this training out because it's really important that whenever the market shifts, we're able to shift with the market, okay? Because whenever we can't shift with the market and we can't adjust accordingly, that's when business owners lose business. That's when a lot of businesses fail, and it's also when a lot of businesses excel. So there's really only two places we can be. We can either be excelling or we can be failing right now. And I want to make sure that all of our agents, we're staying up to date and doing what we need to do to still be able to do business. So again, the reason that I put this out here is because since COVID affected us directly in March, I actually have not quarantined. We were essential workers from the very beginning. And so in March, April, May, I already had several deals in the pipeline that were going that I needed to tend to. I had active buyers that were looking, whenever they put all the restrictions into effect, the first thing I was doing is like, am I an essential employer? Yes or no? Because I needed to know what to tell my clients. Am I putting them on hold? Are we going to get to finish? And so it was very important for me to figure out a way to stay safe, but to also continue doing business. And I have to say that Zoom calls has been one of the most beneficial ways for me to stay in business up until this point. At this point, I do have a paid subscription. I think that it's very much worth it. It's about $15 a month, more or less. Correct, Anai? Yeah, more or less, right? Okay, I don't remember exactly what it is, but I want to say about $15 a month. And we're paying that monthly. And what it gives me is it basically gives me unlimited meetings that I can go to. But more than anything, what was more important for me is that I didn't have a time limit. I didn't have a time limit on my meetings. So if you don't have the paid subscription, you can use Zoom for free, but keep in mind that your calls have to stay within 40 minutes or less. I think they also have there's only a certain amount of people that can get on your calls at one time. So obviously, once you guys start using it, I would say start with the free subscription if you're thinking about doing this, so you can see if it fits your needs or not. And then if you need to upgrade, you can upgrade. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen. And this is going to be a very like 101 class. So I just kind of want to go through the process. Let me ask you girls before I get started. Lorena and Connie, do you already have Zoom accounts that you're using?
Yeah, I have.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So then I won't go too deep into this part. So you have to, this is going to be your homepage right here. When you get here, for anybody that's watching this recording afterwards, you can go right up here to this tab where it says plans and pricing and see the different packages that I was just mentioning. Okay, so there is a free package that you can use, or you can do one of the upgrades, and you can look through those. But like I said, just go free until you see that you actually need an upgrade. Because at the end of the,
I'm sorry. What is the difference between Zoom and Google Meets?
You know what? I don't know. I don't use Google Meets. I have used it before, but I wouldn't know just like that. I wouldn't know to tell you what's the biggest difference. I would have to look into it.
Okay, thank you.
But you know what? We'll do that. Anai, can you make a note? We'll check into it because they actually might have more affordable plans. And I
Maybe.
wouldn't possibly, if anything, I don't know. I'll look into it. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, so here you're going to see all the packages, and then you can pretty much create an account for yourself and start doing that. So assuming you already have an account, let me move this out of the way. If you go right here to your little face and you just click on it, oh, maybe not. Okay, no, sorry. We're going to schedule a meeting. We're going to schedule a meeting. So this is already me inside of my homepage. After I've created an account, if you need help creating an account, they do have a number right here that you can call and they can help you and they'll walk you through it. Now, once we go into actually create an account, it's pretty simple in the sense of like, it's very self-explanatory. So for example, the meeting that we set up a lot, very often, is gonna be the first time home buyers consultation. So one of the big things that I like to do, and let me throw this in there too, for when it comes to us getting leads, a lot of times, especially right now with COVID, well, we don't want to be going out and showing homes to people that are not serious. Like, this is also for our safety. We want to make sure that if we are going out with a client, you know, and we're exposing ourselves essentially, that this is a real client. So one of the big things that I do is set up these first-time homebuyer consultations. Okay, and this has always been something that I did even, you know, before it was on Zoom, but this is just a good way for you to kind of get to know your client, for them to get to know you, you know, chit chat just a little bit. It doesn't have to be 100% formal. Get to know them a little bit and build that rapport with them. And so we'll typically label it as our first time home buyers consultation. And you do want to give it some type of label. You don't want to just run through all of this, because when you send the invitation to your client, they're actually going to see a lot of this. So under first time home buyer consultation, I could even give a short description of what we're going to go over. So I might say something like review buying process, cost to expect, timelines to expect, and answer any questions. Okay, so that's a quick little description. Review buying process, cost to expect, timelines to expect, answer any questions you might have. And then when will we be hosting this meeting? We're just going to click on this little calendar right here. And this is going to be for tomorrow. Let's say it's going to be at 1 p.m. And then it's even going to ask me for the duration. Now, the duration, for me, it's not like, we don't have to get it crystal like on point. You don't have to know exactly how long it's going to take, but you would like to have a more or less. And with first time homebuyer consultations, I definitely don't want to keep it over an hour. Okay. Consultations like this, they involve a lot of information. It's essentially like taking your client to class sometimes with all the new information that you're giving them, you know, so you don't want to do more than an hour. Okay, then we have our time zone. If you need to change that, you can change that also. Is it a recurring meeting? So typically these meetings are not going to be recurring. That just means, is it going to be something that we're repeating every single week or every month? We're probably not. Registration required. Registration. So I'm not sure what this box means. I want to say that it's asking that they be registered to Zoom, maybe. I'm gonna leave this as off. I'm not sure exactly what that one's for, so we don't mess with that.
I think it is if The person required a password to go into the meeting?
No, it's kind of like RSVP.
What? Excuse me?
It's like RSVP.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. That makes sense. So for these, I don't need them to RSVP. Meeting ID, generate automatically or personal meeting number. I mean, this to me is kind of whatever. It's just asking me, do you want to use this number? Do you want to use another number? And then passcode. So this basically says whenever they send out a link, do they have to have this passcode to get in? And then waiting room. This is something that I do, and I recommend that you guys do also. If you're gonna be setting up the Zoom call, check the waiting room option because it says only users admitted by the host can join the meeting. So basically you start the meeting and let's pretend that you were in an actual office where there's a lobby room. Well, typically your clients go into the lobby room and then they wait there until somebody lets them into your office. Well, we don't have that setup. So this is essentially the same setup virtually. I'm the host and I'm gonna sit here and wait for you guys. And as you come in, I'm gonna let you in the meeting. So it's exactly what I do whenever I have these trainings. You wanna do that for them because you also don't want them sitting in the meeting by themselves. So me and Anaí were actually talking about this right before we started the call. I definitely recommend to be on time with these calls also. I feel like it feels different when you're late to this one than when you're late to one in person. Yeah, you would agree, Lorena? It does.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I don't know why, but the other day I was 5 minutes. I was like on my way and I don't know, it was a very different feeling being late to a virtual meeting than it was to this one because I almost felt like, well, I could call from here and be on time, but in reality, like if I'm in an actual consultation, like I need to sit down and prepare. Anyways, just try your best to be on time and then that way you can sit and wait and let them in as they come in. So these are some more of the default options. A lot of this was just already on okay, so I jumped ahead. Video, host, off. So this is pretty much saying when you first log in, is the video going to be on automatically or off automatically? I recommend that you keep it off just because like you never know that you might accidentally Zoom call somebody and then your video's on, and I just leave that off, and then that way when you start, you have to click on the video and you can get started. And the same thing with the participants. We can always ask our participants to have their video on, which I love to see you guys when you guys are on. So thank you. It does help me, honestly, because I can see when you guys are saying yes, or like if you make a face like you're not understanding. So it does help me that you guys are on here. So thank you. So we're going to leave that off and then let the participants ask to be added on. And then audio we have from the telephone or computer or for both. And I do use Zoom on both, so I'm going to leave it on both. If you only use Zoom on your computer, you might want to just hit computer audio because that'll be your default and it'll automatically go to it instead of having to ask you. So when you log in, sometimes it'll ask you audio from computer or something like that. Like it'll ask you like, where am I getting the audio from? It won't ask you. So if you take the time to set up your settings, then you're not going to get all those questions every single time that you log on. And then meeting options, allow participants to join at any time, mute participants upon entry. This is actually a good one if you're going to host like a class. So something I've done in the past is host classes as to try to get leads. This is something that you guys can definitely do. And this is something that I know that I need to add on to my calendar is we're going to start hosting classes that are open to the public. And I might want to mute them upon entering because in a situation like that, you know, when there's a lot of people jumping on, we need to make sure that the speaker is being heard at all times. And if two of us are talking at the same time, you're not going to hear the speaker. So sometimes, like if a kid is walking around in the background, you know, we just ask, like, can you please mute yourself? And it's important that you ladies know to do that also. Whenever you're in the meeting, if there's children in the background, that's usually the biggest one, or maybe you can hear the traffic, or maybe the dogs are barking in the background. Don't be afraid to ask your client to mute you or to mute themselves, because if they don't mute themselves, they can't hear you. You just go, like, they can't hear you at all. So we can do that. We can require authorization to join, authentication. So it's probably going to ask for like the password, right? I think that's where it's asking for the password. And then automatically record meeting on the local computer. So this is something that I set up for mine, because I do want to train I want to record my trainings. But then, you know, don't forget to turn it off whenever you don't want a recording. Like if I'm meeting with a client, I don't want to record it. I don't need to. There's really no reason to. And then approve or block entry to users from specific regions or countries. So I don't think we need to do anything with that. Alternative hosts. So this is pretty cool. So let's say that you wanted to meet with your client and with the lender at the same time. You might want to add your lender as the alternative host. And that's just to your benefit, because if they want to maybe share their screen, for example, I know I did this with Isaac from AAA. I added him in as my alternative host, and which was perfect because my service wasn't good here. My internet wasn't good, and I kept coming off and coming on and off, on and off. And even though I was coming on and off, the realtors that were in the room with him, they could still hear him and see him. So it didn't cut me off, or it didn't cut everybody off just because I was cut off. Also, he wanted to share his screen, and he was able to share his screen without me being there. So if you do have an alternative host, definitely add in their email here. That way they can get the host benefits that you would have gotten if it was only you. So from there, all we do is hit save. And now we have scheduled an entire Zoom training. Now, the cool thing about this that I love personally, because I'm big on using my Google Calendars. Everything that I schedule goes into my Google Calendars. If it's not in my Google Calendars, it doesn't exist in my life. If it's not there, I just believe that it's not there at all. I was gonna say, but she blocked herself out. So this, I think, is really nice whenever you send this to a client.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I think this looks very professional. Whenever you're able to send an invitation like this, especially through their email, it just looks very professional. It's kind of like when we go to the doctor and we schedule a doctor's appointment, they'll send us an email confirmation and then they'll call us before. And so that's something that I'm really big on. And it's funny, like right now that I'm thinking about it, I actually model my follow-up after like a doctor or a dentist's office. I love the way that the doctors and dentists follow up. And so I make sure to do that same thing with my clients. So I have a very, it's a very streamlined system that I use every single time. And I think it's very helpful. And I think that's why I'm a big fan and advocate of Zoom, because I feel like they get it. Like, it's a meeting. At the end of the day, it's still a meeting. Like, the virtual part is the virtual part, but they offer a lot of the same things that you would if you were just in a regular meeting. So first, they put together this nice little invitation for the meeting. And then you can always share this on or add to your Google Calendar, Outlook calendar, or Yahoo calendar. So not only do I get the option to add this into my calendars, but my my clients also get the option. And if my client is a busy client and they live, you know, just as crazy schedules as I do, if they're a mom, if they work, if they don't work, if they have all the kids at school that are in school but at their house right now, like everybody could use this reminder. So whatever you can do to make your client's life a little bit easier and easier for them to get to your meeting, use it. So they're going to get this option also, and they can plug that into their calendar, and then it's going to have the meeting ID. It's going to have the passcode for them. It's going to have this nice little link where all they have to do is click on this link, and they can do this from their phone. They can do this from their computer. And the nice thing is, I believe if you're a guest, you don't even have to have an account. So it's not like it's going to force them to create an account. No, they can just jump in. If they want to create an account, they can create an account. But it's just such an easy way to get your clients in front of you safely, without having to just meet a bunch of random people at random houses right now. So, and that's about it. And once you're ready to get started, you're going to go into the Zoom, just the Zoom.us, and then you're going to go into meetings, and it's going to show you right here. Oops. So it's actually going to show you, okay, upcoming meetings. And you can see that I have all of my meetings scheduled here. So this was my training for today. I have a call with the bosses later. And then we have a first-time home buyers tomorrow. And so they're all on here. So you want to do this as soon as you get the appointment, because now it's all set up for you. So whenever it comes time for us to do our appointment, like I said, we do a follow-up the day before. Either the day before or that morning. So if I have a very late appointment, like a 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock appointment, I will send them a text, or I want a text confirmation that morning. So that morning we'll send them out a text message that says, hey, looking forward to meeting with you later today. I just want to confirm that we're still on for 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And as long as they tell me yes, I know that they're going to show up. If they don't respond, then I'm pretty much assuming that they're not going to show up. And if they don't respond, I might send them another text message later, like, hey, again, just wanted to confirm that you are still going to show up. If I don't hear anything, they're not showing up. If I have an appointment in the morning, you want to make sure to send the reminder the day before, no later than 4 p.m. the day before. So this is the follow-up system that I use. I definitely recommend that if you're not using a follow-up system like this before your meetings, you implement one. And going back to my systems, I talked about Google Calendar. I just plug everything into my Google Calendar so that I don't forget. Also, if you have help, like I have Anaí, she gets to share all of my Google Calendar events. So all I have to do is add her into my event. I just add her email in, and Google Calendar already knows. She's the first one that pops up. This is who you want to share, right? And I'm like, yes, that one right there. Add her in, and she has all that information too. So like she knows already at this point, oh, she has an appointment at 5 o'clock. Let me shoot a confirmation out, you know, and she just gets that done in the morning. We get the confirmation, and we know that we're going to go through with that meeting. So that's about it. Do you ladies have any questions for me?
No, thank you.
No.
No? All right. Well, thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate you ladies showing up. I think, you know, this information is vital for a lot of agents to, you know, keep thriving in this market. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question.
Okay.
How do you share in data, statistics, files that you want the other person to see?
Good question. So let me see. Let me see if it'll let me do it. I'm gonna go into start on this one. I hope it doesn't kick you guys out. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not gonna let me because I have one. So let me see if you can see. I'm going to make you big. I'm going to see if I can get you onto the screen that I usually have.
Since they can see your screen, just go to like the call, just go back to the call itself, no?
Yeah, but why do I have you on this? Like, how do I get this bigger?
Oh.
Because that's usually, maybe I need to stop share, but then it's, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, to answer your question, when you're in the main screen, so right now I'm sharing my screen. So you're seeing everything that I'm doing, but I obviously can't show you how to share the screen because I'm on a meeting with you. So you're gonna have on the bottom, in the middle, you're gonna have a little bar. And whenever you hover over that little bar, it's gonna give you options. You don't have to click anything. You just need to take your mouse and run it down the bottom. When you run the mouse down the bottom, the little bar is gonna pop up. And the bar is gonna say add participants. This is the one where you're gonna have to let in your clients. And it's gonna have a little red bar and it's gonna say share screen.
Okay.
So you'll just
Oh,
share
yeah.
screen.
I already saw it.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
And then it's gonna give you, it's gonna pop up and it's gonna show you all the screens that you have open. So you might have like an Amazon screen open, an MLS screen open, an email open, and then it's gonna let you pick which one you wanna go to.
Okay.
So it at least starts you on the screen that you wanna share. And then from there, you can move around. If you wanna open up another tab, if you wanna do anything, you can move from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that's it, ladies. Thank you again so much for showing up to this call. I really appreciate having you on, and I appreciate you showing your face, Lorena.
I'm sorry for my
I'm telling you, I'm gonna start challenging everybody to show your face because we need to get back into the flow of like, you know what? When I'm meeting with people, I'm meeting with people. So at least from here up, we have to make an effort.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Well, thank you so much, Lorena, Anaí, Connie. Thank you, ladies. And then, like always, I'll be sharing this video on YouTube. So if you haven't already, please go to my page, like and subscribe. And when you hit the little bell, it'll show you every single time we put a new video up. So you know automatically, okay, there's a new video up. Let me go and check it and see if I've seen this one already. Okay.
Take care.
All right. Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.